Hello everybody and welcome to the RuneScape 3 League videos. This started last Monday and I would have loved to make videos throughout the week, but unfortunately I got caught with COVID just 2 days before. It's just now that I'm finally feeling good enough to edit, and I want to take this entire video to catch up to where we currently are, so it's going to be a big one. Let's jump into it. For my sake, I'm going to be using the legacy interface mode because I am not used to playing on an RS3 interface, nor do I like playing on a huge client. Legacy interface is as similar looking to old school as RS3 can be. It is very simple. We will be using this until we see clear disadvantages, which we probably won't see until the very end game PVM. For my tier 1 relic, I'm going to be choosing the excavator. I think this one is clearly better than the other two as it has buffs to mining and archaeology, and archaeology is one of the worst skills in the game to train as an Iron Man. It's extremely slow, especially early game. And on top of that, it also heavily affects other training methods, skills, and PVM itself. It's currently the first hour, which means everyone is spawned in and doing random basic things around Lumbridge for points. Steal from a stall 10 times, kill a goblin, all that basic stuff. The first quest of many to come on RS3, the Blood Pact completed. Every hour when the clock hits 00, there is a wilderness event that spawns. This event is different every hour and it is very rewarding, especially for Iron Man / early game. I did not get a chance to do this on my group Iron Man a year ago as it was disabled for groups, so I'm actually looking forward to this. Oh my god, I just got here and I'm late, everyone's already here. It is super hard to see what's going on as there's no entity hider in this game, but this event is the farming one and it's basically just forestry. We have to click plants, they grow, and then we loot them in our inventory. The true final boss of this event. I'm at 0 out of 7 because I have not turned in any yet, and I cannot see anything or know where to turn them in. There she is. The event ends when the bottom goal is reached or the time runs out, whatever comes first. There it is, 17 farming from that event. That was way worth it. The better part of this event though, which I didn't know until now, is the wild sack that you get. This thing is insane. We opened our sack and got 24 infernal ashes, which is the equivalent of 24 dragon bones. Super good for early prayer training. Doing some woodcut tasks, willows only have a level 20 requirement in this game. Topping one gave me my tier 2. For tier 2, we're going to be going the farming relic. This lets us insta-grow things, and there's a couple other buffs for planting herbs, which is my main concern as farming can be very confusing in RS3, especially with the questionable access to seeds / secondaries. I completed Demon Slayer as that was also a task, and I have zero clue how leveling early combats work in this game, so I'm just gonna guess and throw the lamps on attack. There's kind of like a skilling hub in RS3 called Fort 4 and 3, which is locked behind a quest which I have no idea why, but they didn't auto-complete it. The quest is building the fort, which is like an hour of AFK construction training. My final decision was to look for more tasks to do while AFKing, but not necessarily grind it out. It was not worth rushing. The next hour we were able to make it into cash. This is our Divination training method until level 70, which is when we unlock an actual training method. It is not normal for there to be more than like 5 to 10 people here, but there's like 100, this looks insane. This was actually our second cache, and a few minutes in here got us 42 to 47 Divination. I really am not a fan of all of the questing I'm having to do without quest helper, but we do need to do the Necromancy quest to unlock the skill, and we will also be using the combat style quite a lot. Finally able to use my farming relic. I bought some seeds from the Draenor lady that sells them, and the relic should be able to insta-grow / harvest for decent XP. This is my first time seeing it. Okay, that was kind of epic. That should make farming training later a lot of fun. 30 defense for a full set of Batwing robes. That gives us plus 30 league points for the tier 3 relic. We only got this relic about 6 or 7 hours in. It was a ridiculously long time, likely due to knowledge difference in the game. It was very different and a lot harder. The tier 3 relics are kind of average. It's just a tier of teleport relics. I'm going to be choosing Assassin's Insight, which gives us a skull to teleport to all Slayer mobs, dungeons, and masters. I'm not sure if this is best in slot or where any of the spots even are, but it sounds the coolest, so I am choosing it. The cooler part of this relic is that we get a passive that all movement abilities are reduced to 4.8 seconds instead of 20, and the dive ability is automatically unlocked. In case you don't know what that means, RS3 has movement abilities that we can press a button, which uses an ability, to skip our character 10 tiles forward, or to where our cursor is up to 10 tiles. Both of these abilities have separate cooldowns, so essentially, as long as we know where we're going, we will be flying around the map. Siphoning a rune sphere was also a task, and while in here, there's no reason not to complete it for 1000 Stardust, as this is also good runecraft XP anyway. A rune sphere is a sphere of a type of rune that will downgrade all the way from blood to mine. After mine, it turns into an energy ball, which you can turn in rune dust for XP. That got us a 100k XP drop at only roughly level 30. Coming up on day 2, we were doing some AFK skilling to catch up on tasks, as we did not even end our day 1 with tier 4 yet. I also decided from this point on I would make my game slightly larger, as it was hard to navigate since the interfaces were so large. As a future Necromancer, I had to do some more Necromancy because the meta to get more gear is to do tasks to learn how to smith it, and then smith it. This part is kind of cool in the sense that it introduces us to the skill, and it makes it very noob friendly to get gear. The only downside is that there's no quest helper for all of these tasks. It would be infinitely easier if we could just click blue. Now that I'm finally doing combat as well, I'm able to do one boss slayer task per day, and we got Giant Maul as our first one, and even though we are an Iron Man, we are allowed to mass it. 50 Necromancy? A task of 6 Giant Moles got us to 46 Slayer, a start to the skill for sure. I mentioned earlier that we were very behind on day 1 progress, which was true compared to other people. But even other people, even rank 1, I don't think had tier 5 unlocked 24 hours in. Gygax made a really good decision halfway through day 2 to make all relics tier 4 and above reduce points so that people could achieve them faster. Logging in from the update, we immediately had tier 4 unlocked. Unfortunately, still a bit to go before tier 5, which is the combat relic. For tier 4, I did something I don't think anyone expected. I chose a clue scroll relic. The other choices were both skilling relics, one of them being production master, which is really good for instantly skilling full inventories similar to the OSRS production relic. Here's the thing though, I don't want my goal in RS3 to be 200 mil all, but rather I want to learn the game. I want to do clue scrolls, I want to PVM, I want to do all of that stuff. And with all of the points locked behind the clue relic, this seemed like the best choice. I tried to do the clue scrolls in my bank, and my god, I forgot about how there's no rune light. We have to wiki all the answers when we get a challenge scroll. It is not fun. There is a solve for this that I learned on day 4, but unfortunately we are not there yet. The clue relic gives us the Globetrotter outfit, which has infinite charges. These charges can be used to teleport to each step, and it also has an option to refresh a step if we get something bad. For example, if we don't have the levels, or more likely, the quest for an area. In this step, I had to emote with some items I did not want to get, so it was a refresh angle. We also get 2 caskets per solve, which means more clogs, more items, and more league points. I started with some Slayer for the reason that there were a lot of points locked behind it, and I barely even got to use my farming relic yet, so I'm kind of hoping that this also gives me seeds. A lot of points are locked behind Herblore and farming, and if we can figure out how to train those 2 skills, we'll probably get a lot of points. After Slayer, I finally got some Renner seeds, but before I could even use them, I needed the Guam Tamarinto seeds for really early training. There was an area north of Fort 4 and 3 where we can kill zombies that drop a lot of low level seeds. My current goal is to get my hands on prayer pots, and then I think we will attempt Jad. It's nearing the end of day 2, and we are finally going to be able to utilize our farming relic. Now I get to talk about why this relic is so good. Not only do we insta-grow crops, but in the main game in RS3, you can buy unlocks from the farming guild that allow you to plant up to 10 herb seeds in one patch. The downside to this is that you only get the yield of 7, but if you have a lot of herb seeds, it's very logical to do this to minimize your herb runs. This farming relic takes 1 seed per herb patch and makes it count as 10. which means we get the absolute maximum yield, or about 30 herbs per patch per 1 seed. I had to do another quest for Necromancy, and look at that, sailing is already in the game. This was especially fun when I realized that you can surge and dive in the boat as well. The quest got us level 80 Necromancy, and while we have level 80 and can theoretically smith with level 80, we can't actually smith it yet because we're so far behind on the tasks and the supplies to smith. This is kind of expected since the XP rates are so buffed, but the tasks and quests are not. My clips got a bit out of order here, but last night we did get the tier 5 relic, and if you couldn't guess it already, we are going Necromancy. Why? Well, here's the thing. The melee relic is really good. It heals 10%, melee is strong, it's a lot of fun. The thing is though, for endgame bossing, it's probably going to be hard to utilize unless you're really good at the game. Necromancy on the other hand, the relic itself is average at best. It makes the base skill a lot more convenient to train and upkeep supplies. I want to use Necromancy because I know I can use this combat style at almost any boss in the entire game. Also, what a lot of non-RS3 players don't know is that the Necromancy abilities themselves heal you. We have the heal already built into the main game. By going Necromancy, my hope is that we can easily and conveniently do all the bosses. The morning of day 3, it is time for our first boss fight. Jad. 63 waves, the exact same setup as OSRS, although the room does look a lot smaller. Also, for some reason, the low level things in here have an insane amount of HP. The Bloodwoods, for example, have 6,000 each. For OSRS terms, that would be like having 60 HP. Something that I forgot to consider is that prayer is only 50% reduction in this game in most places. Jad specifically is 100%, but getting to him while taking 50% damage from everything might be kind of tough. It's a DPS check on how fast I can kill the mages, since I'm guaranteed to tank 50% of their damage. The main way I'm healing is my Necromancy Ghost that I have summoned. This was an ability that I will be using everywhere. It deals damage to NPCs while also healing me. This is what I was talking about. This is how you heal as a Necromancer. Wave 62, I had 2 majors on me that each dealt 50% damage. I got absolutely bodied. It was finally time for Jad though, and while I was entering with low HP, at least prayer finally works 100%. There we go, 69 Slayer. That was legit the easiest wave of the entire fight cave as well. I forgot to mention, but one of the passive buffs is that we get to choose our daily boss task from the Reaper. I chose a Jad knowing that I wanted to do this. Free Slayer XP, although no Slayer Helm as there is a 0% chance of me questing for that. I spent most of the rest of the day just doing random tasks. I decided at some point that I have to get 80 agility before the skill becomes quick, so I sucked it up and sent 2 hours of wilderness agility to bang out 52 to 80. 80 to 99 will all be a different course. Just to explain how this works, PvP is disabled on RS3 by default. There is a way to enable it though. In order for players to attack each other, both have to have it enabled. I am currently equipping a demonic skull. This gives me 3.5 times experience while skilling in the wilderness. The only time this is really relevant is to train agility pre-level 80 and runecraft when we get to it. Technically, I am risking everything on me right now, but I also have nothing. The skull itself does cost 550k GP though. While Necromancy is a combat skill, there's a decent upkeep in supplies for runes, ectoplasm, which is needed to cast abilities, and in order to get these supplies, we have to do Necromancy itself, something called rituals. These rituals reward us with the supplies needed to upgrade our gear, a new type of essence for new runes, etc. They are also good XP, and remember, my relic saves 95% of my Necromancy supplies. Realistically, at some point I need to do a couple hours of this, probably 1 to 2, and that should set me with enough supplies for the entire league. That's what I decided to currently do. Because these also give good XP, I got my first 99, Necromancy. In order to upgrade my armor to tier 70, I had to do 2 barrows kills, which I got 2 rags legs during. That was some free league points. I also needed 65 crafting to make the armor, and the meta for crafting on Iron Man is to go to a skilling boss, the Gates of Elodinus, which we are at, and just craft the thing in the arena until we die and repeat. This method is normally locked behind an endgame quest with an 87 archaeology requirement, but Leagues auto-completed it, so we are good to abuse early levels. For some reason, I don't have any clips of me actually doing the crafting method, but I did end up doing one real kill normally because I thought the boss was cool. There's actually a lot of mechanics to this boss. We have to dodge his attacks while trying to mine the things in our inventory, and then when we have enough shards, we jump on the pillars to attack. We got a clog slot for an item that I think is unique, but I honestly have no idea what it does, but that's the fun of this game. I also got 80 league points. I also had to kill one of each God Wars Dungeon 1 boss to make my tier 80 weapons. None of them were really that bad thanks to Necromancy being able to heal me and also being strong. We can also smith tier 90 gear, but I think I'm going to call it at tier 80. This should be more than enough to get me everything that I want for now. We will come back and revisit tier 90 probably after we get tier 7. I can't seem to find the clip of me unlocking tier 6, but we chose Invention. The Banker's Note is not nearly as good in RS3, and the Invention skill is insanely important while also being a super powerful skill in RS3. The good news is that the relic basically deletes any potential training, as we have infinite access to materials. Normally we would get these by breaking down items, anything from as low as a maple log to tier 99 weapons. Because we have access to infinite invention parts, it gives us infinite supplies to do unrealistic methods that normally would not be possible. This skill is a very fast 200 mil. Invention also allows us to alch anything with a 66% chance to save that supply. Basically infinite GP if we were to just buy construction supplies such as magic stones and then alch them. After doing this for about 10 minutes, we pretty much have infinite GP for access to anything in the game. Disassembling also counts as alching, which is what we are doing as it's more AFK. And while it would be theoretically better to alch 0 time during any other activity, I wanted some start GP so I wouldn't have to come back to the shop every 2 seconds. And also alching in this game, in my opinion, is very awkward. We did this up to 160 mil GP before moving on to something else. I went back to Invention to finish off level 120 for more points. And because I got so many levels AFKing in the last clip, at new levels, you unlock new plans that you have to invent as a one-time thing, and these plans give Invention XP. Normally it wouldn't be so much, but I'm quickly seeing, after not doing any plans from level 1 to 60, we are getting a lot of XP with our 12 times multiplier. We can use components in Invention to make perks that make our gear better and stronger, and because we have infinite components in this game mode, this works as a training method. Spam clicking, we legit get 135k XP every 2 ticks. It's nuts. Inventory got us level 70, which might be important for me to mention that Invention is RS3's only elite skill, which means it follows a different XP curve versus a normal skill. That's why despite having 8.3 mil XP currently, we are only level 70. After nearly 30 minutes of inventing the entire game, we did it. As I said, the XP from the table inventions multiplied a lot due to being 12x. We managed to get level 99 and 120 in the same tick when exiting. I had to scroll up and double check my chat box because I just couldn't believe it, but it was indeed true. I now have access to third age components, which I'm sure you can figure out what gives them. Doing these is 180k XP every 2 ticks. I learned at some point soon after that we can straight AFK for 108k XP every 4 ticks. While this is slightly slower, breaking the gizmos was not fun, and I can do this while eating or looking up new tasks. This is how I would get 200 mil. Having infinite GP gave us access to 2 tick Heaven Prayer. The crystals in our inventory are bought with raw GP. Normally, we click the crystal once in the middle and AFK for 2 minutes for a big XP drop, followed by more XP drops for 2 minutes. With infinite amount of crystal, we can click every 2 ticks and get an XP drop every 4. This drains our crystal stack, which does not matter because we have so much GP. This method ended up being so fast that I decided to just full send 99. 20 minutes later, 34 mil XP per hour, 99 prayer is completed. Coming up, it was time for Slayer. We had the best task in the entire game, Vorkath. Vorkath is a blue dragon task just like OSRS, and this boss is actually an endgame-ish boss in this game, done in a group of 3+ people. However, there are options you can choose when going in the fight. You can choose normal mode, story mode, and hard mode. Story mode is essentially normal mode, but everything hits 10 times less. With story mode being so easy, we are able to solo it and get insane amounts of Slayer XP per kill. Due to XP multipliers because of the league, it is about 400k Slayer XP per kill. And such, because of that, on our 228 blue dragon task, with 195 kills to go, we just got 99 Slayer. This took us about 2 hours. This is where we became aware that 99 Slayer grind was extremely fun. We got to kill a boss, get insane rates, everything about it was perfect. The only problem is that we were still only tier 6, meaning 12 times XP. If I got tier 7, I would have had 16 times XP. That is when the game has finally become speedy, on day 5. There was probably about 2,000 points locked behind killing random Slayer creatures and getting 99 Slayer myself. The league points were finally coming in fast, and tier 7 was looking realistic. Because I had my Slayer skull from the tier 3 relic, I was able to instantly teleport to almost all of these places, and I'd kill 1, 10, or sometimes 50 for 200 points. It was crazy fast. Some of these Slayer NPCs definitely had some mechanics to them though, and because I was unaware of them, I would either almost die or fully die and just have to tele back. Dying in this game is not punishing, it's the same as OSRS where you just claim your items and keep video gaming. Being introduced to all those new Slayer mobs doing the tasks is how we finally started getting herb seed drops. I got a lot of Ranars, and while growing them, I realized this is our best farm XP per hour, growing herbs. Because of our relic, we are essentially looting 10 herbs from one patch, and I guess the XP, when you multiply it by that much, plus the XP rates, it just goes crazy. By this point, I was well past 70 Divination from caches, and I was able to do a real training method, the Hall of Memories. There are one-time unlocks from this minigame, and it's also a league task to do those, so I decided to send it for a bit. In order to complete this minigame, we need level 95, but because the XP from the game itself was so high, I managed to get about 93 to 94 from it, which allows me to spend an extra few minutes to finish off 95 and get more league points. This led to us getting 99 Divination and doing all of the tasks related to it, which was yet again another 1k points. And I also started AFKing magic stones for more GP because there is a league task to donate 100 mil to a pet named Richie in the GE for 400 league points. And another task to get a title by buying every clan's cape in Prif. And finally, there's something called deep sea fishing, which I have not done yet, so I don't know anything about it. But there can be an event that spawns inside of it, a whirlpool, where if you dump 100 mil GP in, it gives you a new title alongside 400 league points. That is 1000 league points just for having GP. This whirlpool is not out 24/7, and I think it's kinda rare to find, but if you join the Whirlpool D&D friends chat, someone will eventually call it. As I said earlier, we did get clue scrolls figured out. There's a plugin called Alt1, which is similar to RuneLite, and it does not even come close to how good RuneLite is. However, there is an extra downloadable add-on to it, which is relatively new for a clue solver. This clue solver is amazing. I also realized while rewatching these clips that my OBS does not pick up Alt1, so it looks like I'm using my brain to solve these. I promise that is not the case. I don't even know the exact thing that I'm going for with these clues, but I know it's giving me points. I kept on doing clues for caskets until I got the final push. On day 6, it is finally time. We completed the final tier, tier 7. The choices in tier 7 for once are actually tough to make. We have the Specialist Relic, which gives us infinite spec basically, but as a Necromancer this isn't really good, although it's super good for other styles. We have Ascension, which gives us a god book that acts as every god book in the game and is stronger. Now I don't know much about god books, but I know they are very good, and it's extra DPS that requires 0 knowledge to use. Finally, we have Everlasting Faith, which is kind of comfortable, as it gives us 100% protection prayers, perma soul split while not even using it, and a revive if we were to die. I was torn between Faith and Ascension, but in the end I decided with Ascension. I don't think we'll be that strong with the Everlasting Faith, and I know some bosses are a matter of DPS checks, where we can skip hard mechanics simply by being strong. I need some extra DPS, and Specialist with Necromancy is just not it. I am finally caught up to where I want to be. On top of that final tier 7 relic, we also now have 16 times XP, the max XP buff. This gives us access to skilling, whether we want to go for max or 200 mil all, or 50 mils for the tasks, or whatever. Point is, we can skill guilt-free. Even just while editing this video, I was able to AFK all of 99 mining at 16x, and 99 crafting. Now it's time to decide. Do we rush max? Do we do clues? Do we go for more league points? Do we do endgame PVM? The options are endless, and the league is fully opened up. At this time, I actually don't know what I want to do yet. What I do know is that we are ending this video here at 2326 total level. I hope you all enjoyed it, and as always, TY for watching, and I will catch you all next time. Peace out.